our founders created a constitution that put the states at the top of the food chain. That is not the Constitution we live under today. The Constitution that was created by the founders, remember, the states came together and founded the country and founded the Constitution, and the states were the ones who were supposed to be the government that interacted with the people. The federal government was to be this far-off place that dealt with national security and borders and things like that. But that has fundamentally changed. When people say, oh, don't mess with the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution's been messed with. This Constitution that people walk around and show is not the same Constitution that our founders created. If you ask for a copy of the Constitution from the General Printing Office in Washington, D.C., you won't get this. You know what you'll get? 2,600 pages. Because that is, people say, oh, we ignore the Constitution. No, Congress doesn't ignore the Constitution. They actually abide by the Constitution as amended by hundreds, if not thousands, of Supreme Court decisions. The left doesn't amend the Constitution by going through a process that's bottom-up that requires every state to pass a resolution and 38 states to ratify an amendment. They do it by getting 5 justices on the Supreme Court. And they believe in a living, breathing Constitution that changes at any time they want. We don't believe that. We believe in a Constitution that is representative of the values of our country. And we need the states to reassert themselves in this country. And there's no state that leads better than Texas. Texas passed our resolution to call for a convention of states to do 3 things. They passed it 8 years ago. To do 3 things. Number 1, limit the jurisdiction of the federal government, put fiscal limitations on the federal government, and put term limits on potentially all federal office holders, including the deep state. You passed that, but you also passed it with a sunset clause, which sunsets now. So the state, if you're going to maintain your leadership that you are so proud of, we need to get to it. And so I would encourage each and every one of you. There's a little handout there on your tables. There is a petition that you can sign right here. You can sign it, or you can go to the QR code in the back and you can do it online. If you're listening on streaming, you can go to cosaction.org and sign up and sign the petition and let your legislators here in Texas know that this is a priority issue. We need to continue to lead. 19 other states have passed this resolution. We are working in about a half dozen states right now to add to that number. This is something that can happen and must happen. Here's why. There are lots of reasons, but here's what I fear most as someone who's been around Washington for years. Here's what will happen when the Democrats take control of the Senate the next time. What will happen is, and by the way, the presidency of the House, I assume they get all 3 of them, which could happen, candidly, in 3 more years. We know, because they've said it, that they will eliminate the filibuster in the United States Senate. That means they'll be able to pass anything with simply 51 votes in the Senate and 218 votes in the House and have a president sign it. And I guarantee you the first thing they will do is pack the United States Supreme Court. You worry about losing the Second Amendment? Imagine 13 justices on the court, 8 of which are in favor of abolishing the Second Amendment or dramatically limited it. That will happen. That will happen. They will repeal, they will get rid of every state law when it comes to election. They will pass a federal election law, and every state will have to live under California election laws. We will never have another election that's honest in this country. They will add D.C. and Puerto Rico and maybe Greenland as a state. I'm kidding about Greenland, but I'm not about D.C. and Puerto Rico. I'm telling you, they will probably get rid of the vote of the Electoral College, and they will do anything they can to do what they are focused on, which is to take and control power in Washington, D.C., to control your life. This is real, and this will happen. I have an amazing gift. I wrote a book back in 2004 called It Takes a Family in response to Hillary Clinton's It Takes a Village. And I said over the next 10, 15 years, the left was going to destroy the family, upset and destroy marriage. They were going to transform gender, and they were going to try to destroy the church and free speech. What did I get wrong? I was called an extremist. I was called an alarmist. But you know what I was? I listened to what they said they were going to do, and I believed them. This is what they're going to do. And you, Texas, need to lead the effort to stop them. So if there are any legislators in here, I know there's one who's going to follow me here, who's been a supporter, and I thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. Please sign on to this bill as a co-author. House members, senators, and please bring this thing up and get this done and show the country that Texas still wants to lead. We need you. Boy, I hate saying that, but I do. It's true. We need Texas. I know people are coming from all over the country here. There's a reason for that. You're getting bigger, you're getting stronger, but we need you to lead this country. And there is no more important. I wouldn't be here in Austin if I thought the answers were in Washington. It cannot be fixed there. No one ever came into my office when I was in the United States Senate or the House and said, please cut my program. Anybody in this room believe that we are not headed to a fiscal collapse? Raise your hand if you do not believe that. They are not going to do anything in Washington, D.C. to fix that. It has to come from you. It has to come from the people, and the mechanism that our founders put in the Constitution in Article 5 was to give you, the people and the states, the right to offer amendments to control Washington. The Constitution was about checks and balances. In 1912, you removed the check that kept Washington a backwater town with no power. And that check was having state legislators appoint United States senators. Prior to that, the entire debt of the United States was $1.50 from the Spanish-American War. There was no debt, there was no big agencies, there was no power in Washington. The Constitution was changed to allow Washington to explode. You cannot fix a structural problem without structural reform, and the structure is our Constitution. Exactly. So I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting TPPF. This is like the fourth or fifth time I've been here to speak, and I am always honored to be here. This is, again, I hate to admit it, the best public policy, state public policy foundation that has it going. And you folks, I'm counting on you to lead. Please help us. God bless.